This slideshow is about capitalism in 1911. In this lesson, you will learn about the entrepreneurs Max Planck and Isaac Harris, two Jewish immigrants from Russia who built the Triangle Shirtwaist Company up from nothing, and how the people they hired, mostly immigrant children, worked in that factory from day to day until the fire that changed everything. Competition. This is any time there are more than one business that provides the same products or services. For example, Verizon and Sprint both provide phone service. Competition forces the businesses to work very hard to get customers, usually by providing better prices or better service. You see this advertised between Verizon and Sprint and the other phone services on their TV commercials. Competition can force an entrepreneur's business to fail if they can't keep up with lower prices or better service, or as we saw during our capitalism simulation with the wooden cars in class, if prices go so low the entrepreneur loses money and then can go out of business.
Like this one for $3. Three? Yeah. Sure. There you go. Thank you. Yep.
Do you have the headlights that we're looking for?
No, but
Then why did we buy that?
because it was cheap and we gave it a card.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, we got some competition going on for car parts over here. So we're selling wheels over there for $2. You're still selling over there for $5? Oh, yeah. So what are your prices?
For $1.
How do we know?
Because they're 20 to me.
Oh, very nice. Well, you're getting two for $1 over here.
The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory's competition. The most popular article of clothing for women in 1911 was called the shirtwaist. You can see an example of it there on the left. No woman, rich, poor, or middle class, would be seen in anything except a shirtwaist. There were over 500 shirtwaist companies in New York City alone. The shirtwaist had been around for a long time, and some women were looking for a new look. And if the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory owners, Max Planck and Isaac Harris, wanted to stay as rich as they were, they had to keep selling thousands of these shirtwaists every week. The problem was, there were 500 other factories selling shirtwaists, and what if something else became popular and women stopped buying shirtwaists altogether? Monopoly. A monopoly is when there is only one business that has a certain product or service. For example, cable TV. If you want cable TV, not satellite, but cable TV, you have to pay Time Warner. They are the only ones providing cable TV in this part of New York. A monopoly can set whatever price they want for their product or service because if you want it, you have to get it. You get that product from them or you have to do without it. Customers hate this and entrepreneurs love this. The question is, why would customers hate monopolies and entrepreneurs love it? You need to write your answer to that question down under your definition of monopoly, but keep it above the box that I provided for slide number 4's question. Thank you. In this cartoon, you see a very well-dressed pig with a money hat. Notice the word money is written on his hat, and he is stealing the world. A small, poorly dressed human is trying to grab him. Now think, why did the artist make the animal a pig? Why not a dog or a deer? And why is the person so small and the pig so big? I need you to think about that. In this cartoon, John Rockefeller's company, Standard Oil, is shown as an octopus. On your note sheet, answer the following questions. What does the artist think of this monopoly? And how did he show this feeling in the drawing? Wages. Wages are the money that workers are paid for their work. It also may include any benefits that they might get also. At the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, workers did not get any benefits. The greater the workers' wages, the smaller the entrepreneur's profits. At the Triangle Factory, a young seamstress would be paid $7 for a 52-hour, 6-day-long work week. In the meantime, owners Max and Isaac lived in very nice apartments in uptown New York City, with maids and nannies for their children, and they were chauffeured to work every day in their expensive cars. Working conditions. I know that we wrote that down already, but working conditions are very important to understanding the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. They are simply the conditions that are going on inside the business. At the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, the 8th and 9th floors held 8 long tables with 240 sewing machines on each floor. So you'd have to double that for 480 sewing machines total on 2 floors. Generally, the money an entrepreneur uses to make the conditions inside a business safe come out of his profits. If labor wants a good, safe working conditions, the fewer machines that would be on a floor would be the better. That would mean more space for them to work. On the other hand, entrepreneurs don't want to spend their profits on making things safe, and for Max and Isaac, the more machines they had on a floor, the more shirtwaists they could make, and the more money they could earn. A private company. In private companies, the owners take all the risks in the company, and in return, they get to enjoy all the profits, but also have to suffer through all the losses. Max and Isaac owned the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory company. This was a private company. They were the only 2 owners. Now, 20 years before this, they were poor young Jewish immigrants, just like most of the workers that they hired for their factory. They had built this private company up from absolutely nothing and had risked all of their money to make the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory the successful business that it was. They were the models of the American dream, where A dirt poor person could come to the United States and become fabulously rich because of their own hard work and a little bit of luck. These two guys were responsible for any losses from the business, but they also got all the profits. Corporation. A corporation is the ownership of a company that is sold to anyone who wishes to buy it. There isn't just one or two owners. There could be millions. Facebook, which was originally owned by Mark Zuckerberg and his 4 college roommates. Now it's a public corporation, and anyone, including you, can buy a piece of that ownership. The paper that shows ownership in a corporation are called stocks. The price of a stock changes as the company does better, the price goes up, and if it does worse, the price goes down. For example, Facebook stock started out costing $45 this summer. Now that same stock is only worth $21. If a corporation does poorly, stock owners are not personally responsible for the losses. For example, there are now thousands of people who own Facebook, so Mark Zuckerberg and his roommates are no longer get all the profits from Facebook. But if Facebook should lose billions of dollars, Mark and his roommates would not be responsible to pay that bill. Now you can review your notes and answer the question, what is the difference between a private company and a corporation? Child labor. At this time, there were no laws forcing children to go to school. Many poor and immigrant families sent their children to work because they needed the money the children could earn. Factory owners hired children because they did the same amount of work for much less money, so it saved them a lot. I need you to really look at these 2 pictures of these children working and see what the working conditions for these children were. Pay attention to the machines that they're on, what they're wearing, and remember, these are still pictures. Those machines had many operating, moving parts on it. So think about that. To go to a website that lists the names, ages, and any notes for each of the 146 victims of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Please don't worry about any of the boxes with the crazy symbols in them. Answer the 4 questions on the half sheet of paper that you should have picked up with this. When you are done with the half sheet, make sure your name is on it and give it to Mr. Deserto for a homework grade. Then return to the slideshow so you can answer the rest of the questions. Thank you. Review your notes on this whole lesson and anything that you remember from the capitalism simulation with the wooden cars in class, and answer the following question. How can owners make more profits? Please think about that question and then write the answer on the note sheet. Review your notes on this whole lesson and anything that you remember from the capitalism simulation with the wooden cars in class, and answer the following question. How can owners keep their costs down? Please think about that question and then write the answer on the note sheet. Review your notes on this whole lesson and anything that you remember from the capitalism simulation with the wooden cars in class, and answer the following question. How did competition affect the wages paid at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory? Please think about that question and then write the answer on the note sheet. Review your notes on this whole lesson and anything that you remember from the capitalism simulation with the wooden cars in class, and answer the following question. How did competition affect working conditions at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory? Please think about that question and then write the answer on the note sheet. Review your notes on this whole lesson and anything that you remember from the capitalism simulation with the wooden cars in class, and answer the following question. How did competition affect child labor at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory? Please think about that question and then write the answer on the note sheet.